up, everybody, and welcome to Pregame with Bordzy, brought to you by Sherwood Ford, the Giant. We're going for 3 in a row this evening after back-to-back wins over the weekend on the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Detroit Red Wings. Can the Oil make it a 3-game win streak and officially solve all my problems and do it on the second night of a back-to-back? Hello and welcome. Checking in with the chat here. Loyal to Oil. First comment of the day. Hello and welcome. Says Hyman's going to get one tonight. Let's go. Oilers, Bordzy's bankroll also agrees with that statement. So I think it's good juju that was the first comment of the day. Then Cody comes in, he said, if Hyman doesn't get a point tonight, I will act as a shield for the next time Tyler inevitably has to eat cat food and eat it for him. Now, that's a team player through and through. If I was Tyler, I would stop making cat food bets. But shout out to Cody. We like that. And as I mentioned, Kiwi always with a super respectful greeting. Good afternoon, Aaron and Oilers Nation. Hello, and good afternoon to you as well, because we're starting a little bit earlier today. Christopher Palmer does feel odd leaving work to pregame immediately. And I know these afternoon ones, I'm used to 7 o'clock pregamings, 8 p.m. puck drops, so we do have an earlier one today, but we've been busy. We were here all night last night, and shout out you. Mondays are the big days at Oilers Nation. Got a lot of behind-the-scenes work to do. Not only did you volunteer to help me out for both shows tonight, you also volunteered to help make some clips from last night. Can I formally say, I love you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here today. How are you doing today?
Feeling good.
We're going to get some noodle later.
Yes.
That's going to be my reward. That's going to be my reward for the boys. And Patrick Puff is behind the scenes and in the building. Patrick, how are we doing today? You're going to need to get that camera at some point. They're going to need to see that jawline at some point. But Pat, how we doing?
Oh, good. I like these early games, honestly. Yeah. It's nice. It kind of rolls from the workday straight into pre-gaming versus, having to wait a couple hours. It's nice.
I'm not drinking my energy drink today. Have you noticed? Because I still have some energy in me. Maybe a couple odd companies tonight. Who knows? But hello and welcome, everybody. As I mentioned, you can see it on your screen, joined by Matthew Wozniak, resident Derek Ryan fan and master of the TikTok, as I said last night. Shout out for being a team guy. But today, it's a hell of a day. It feels like Christmas morning for sports guys everywhere because it is the first and only sports equinox in the year of 2024. If you don't know what that means, it means NHL, NBA, MLB, NFL, all 4 major sports going down this evening. Tyler Mulick today on Oilers Nation Every Day, he made me laugh because he said, Bordzy, it's the 5 major sports. MLS is playing as well because he pointed out Cincinnati versus NYCFC, Seattle versus Houston. Yeah. Huge game in the soccer world, but Sports Equinox, this is the way to start your week out. You got game 3 of the World Series. The LA Dodgers up 2-0 on the New York Yankees as that series shifts over to the Bronx in New York. There's Monday Night Football. We got Steelers. We got New York Giants taking Steelers money line on that one. We have 11 NBA games on the slate tonight, including 8 NHL games as well. We got the Oilers versus the Jackets. And I believe we got Leafs versus Jets as well. The undefeated 8-0 Winnipeg Jets. So straight up, this is a sports gambler's dream today. Do it responsibly and do it with Bet365. But you got to make the little sports equinox parlay. You can maybe leave the MLS out of that one if you want. But it's a huge sports night tonight, and you're going to be with me all night long, baby.
Again, I'm very excited. We're going to have a fun time. We created some great content last night. If you didn't see Bordzy's reaction to Draisaitls' OT winner, he called it. He called the game winner. You did. And somebody was saying you got a big gat or something?
Yeah, somebody said that Bordzy has a big gat, which I also thought was funny that you, Mr. TikTok, didn't know that word.
I don't know what it means.
But I knew that means I have a nice booty. What that means. And I was kind of shaking it. Also, I was like, it was just such a genuine reaction because I was like jumping out of my chair like a 6-year-old because I did it once. And then, I don't know, it was a great time, great vibes last night because that game didn't really start the way that we were looking for it. But it was the weekend that was in Oil Country. 4-0 victory over the Pittsburgh Penguins on Friday night. We saw Stuart Skinner get his first shutout of the season. 27 saves on 27 shots. But the Oilers, they were all over it. They put up 50 shots in that hockey game. And as well, took them 33 before they were able to beat Joel Blomqvist. But we finally saw in that one, the big storyline for me, the breakout of Victor Arvidsson. He finally showed up. He had 3 apples on the night in there. It wasn't just him, though. It was that second line of Vasily Podkolzin and Leon Draisaitl. But the game had it all. It was a great way to start the weekend. We saw Darnell Nurse absolute ass kicking go down when he beat up Marcus Pettersson, but it really was the perfect game. My biggest takeaways from Friday was Stuart Skinner looking like he's back. Granted, it was just the Penguins, and the Oilers' second line is here to stay. Anything from that game on Friday night Skinner related that, I don't know, what were your takeaways from the Friday game?
I just thought it was a very complete, dominant team performance, standing up for one another. Stuart Skinner was looking sharp. I think that was kind of the game he wanted to get under his belt to really solidify that, hey, this is my crease. And speaking of Stuart Skinner, if you head to Oilersnation.com and the GDB, Jason Gregor noted in his last 5 starts, he's a .915 save percentage and a .238 goals against average on the season. Of course, not the prettiest numbers, an .890, .306 goals against, but his last 5 starts have been impressive. And Gregor also mentions the Matt Duchene goal. Doesn't mean he's, people like to pick part.
I don't get why people are picking on it in that moment when it happened, and the fact they still.
I love what Gregor said. I don't see how one shot out of 141 carries that much weight, but it does for some, and it illustrates the power of negative memory. And like I have a buddy, Lucas. He always tells me back when I was doing soccer coverage, I'd always get pissed off in certain moments. Like, don't be a prisoner of the moment.
Seriously.
Trust me, it happens to us more than we think.
It's a long season, and straight up, like you mentioned those numbers of his last 5 starts. Take out the Winnipeg game. I think Stuart Skinner has been fine this season. Pat, Sergeant Battle's in. He says, hell yeah, I love to see a puff. Give him a hit. Give him a hit. There it is.
We're here. Don't worry.
Speaking of Sergeant Battle, apparently he did a report on my LinkedIn for school.
Okay, I'm going to need more information. Sergeant Battle, I'm going to need an explanation.
I did good.
Because what?
Yeah.
I mean,
excuse me?
The king of the TikTok, as I say, Sergeant Battle, Matt was a legendary LinkedIn. Comment today right here for you was, oh shit, there it is, Merrill Woodley. DR10, 2 points tonight.
I like to hear that because
I don't even think Bet365 offers that.
My friend Alicia on Twitter pointed out that he does not have a point in 9 games so far this year, and Derek Ryan's longest point droughts with the Oilers, 21-22. 22 games, 16 games, 12 games, 11 games. Hey, he doesn't score a lot of points, all right? We know that.
Yeah.
He's a team guy, all right? He absorbs hits. That's what matters.
I love that's what you say when we say he always gets blown up. You go, oh, he absorbs the hits. He absorbs them well. That's what he does. But Sunday, that was a little bit of a different story than Friday night because the Oil came out yesterday, forgive my language, flat as shit, man. They were half asleep, and Detroit was the team coming in on the second half of a back-to-back, but it was a brutal first period for the Oilers. They allow the first shot against, took really Corey Perry's fists to get them back in the game. What was the line you said last night?
From 50 goals to feeding 50 fists, Corey Perry.
You gotta love that. But shout out Calvin Pickard because he stood tall in that first period. Honestly, back-to-back games, Oilers goaltending has been solid. But yesterday, the story, it was the birthday boy. It was all about Leon Draisaitl as he turned 29 years young. Notice I said young because I am also 29 years old. I still feel pretty young myself, but he had 2 goals and an assist. Obviously, the OT winner. Couple takeaways from that game being Calvin Pickard, incredibly solid in that game. He arguably won them the game. Felt like it could have been 3-0, 4-0 after the first period. He stopped 24 of 26 shots, including 12 in the first period. But I'd be remiss not to say that was a birthday to remember for our boy Leon Draisaitl last night.
Yeah, exactly. He got the OT winner, got 2 other points, and he was just having a hell of a game. Really wanted the Oilers to come away with 2 points. And, Leon Draisaitl, he has his fair share of criticisms. People say, oh, his penalties, his defensive game. Hey, we know what he can do with the puck. He's also very strong on the puck. There was times where I saw him with one hand on the stick, blocking a guy off like he was Michael Jordan in the court. I don't know. I mean, that's a weird comparison, but you know what I mean.
Yep, totally. I got the explanation here from Sergeant Battle. My intro to online media class is going over LinkedIn and had us split into groups looking at Nate alumni LinkedIn pages. In my group, happened to get the man, the myth, the legend, Matthew Wozniak. What did we cover was your middle name yesterday?
Jan.
Jan.
Yeah.
Matthew
I mean, my LinkedIn
Jan.
is just me flexing all the social media numbers I have and followers.
Fighting Amish. I am literally twice as old as Bordzy.
Hey.
Well, you're still young at heart. I'm sure just like me, continue to be. Oh, Pat, I was wondering what you were doing there.
Holy,
doing a lot of clicking.
So, Matthew Wozniak, LinkedIn page, social media lead, content creator for ON and Daily Face Off, runs socials. Look at that photo, though, was.
The DFO Instagram 55K. Oh, I got to change that. It's at 100,000 now.
Yeah. Let's go, Waz. Okay, shout out Battles, shout out Waz. But my takeaways being Leon Draisaitl, he's back, he's a rolling, and Calvin Pickard. But Leon, don't look now. I think he's red hot. Let's take a look, Pat, at the leading point getters for the Edmonton Oilers so far this season. It's Leon and it's Connor with 10 points each. You got Matthias Ekholm, kind of surprisingly being in that third slot. Not surprising that he put up points, but that I guess some of the other guys haven't been up there. Bouchard, 3 goals, 3 assists, and Jeff Skinner, 2 goals, 2 assists. But you look at Leon, leading the team in goals, tied for the lead in points. He had a hell of a weekend, 3 goals and 4 points in those 2 games. He's on a 6-game point streak right now where he has recorded 5 goals and 4 assists. He got the birthday bounce yesterday for that first goal against Detroit. That is not where he meant to place that puck. Shout out Ollie Mata, because he knew he was giving out birthday gifts last night. But him was, and that entire second line is the big story from this weekend. Victor Arvidsson, Leon Draisaitl, and Vasily Podkolzin. I mean, you've heard me say it now ad nauseum, but they are playing the right way, the cycle game that Leon really likes to play with, and Podkolzin's physical. He's an energy bug. And Arvidsson, that chemistry be a building. And while we really thought Connor McDavid would be at around Mick 1,000 right now on the 1,000-point watch, and he does have 10 points tied with Leon Draisaitl was. Lately, it's been the Leon Draisaitl show and the second line show.
Which is good to see because, there's times where people say, Leon Draisaitl, he can't carry his own line. It's McDry. And the Oilers only rely on Draisaitl and McDavid. And to an extent, that is true. They are one of the 2 best players in the world. And I think for any team, if you take away their 2 best players, they're probably going to struggle a bit. But it's good to see that Draisaitl's hitting the season early with all these points and goals. And Vasily Podkolzin, I really hope he can stick beside them because I think he's due for a goal. And funny enough, actually, Vasily Podkolzin currently leads the Oilers in hits with 24. Did you know that?
No,
I didn't.
I knew it was up there.
The second most is Darnell Nurse with 12. So the hits got to come back up, and maybe that second line can provide it.
Yeah, hopefully, right? And I don't know, it's a good point you make there because obviously we started the summer. I didn't think of Vasily Podkolzin being in the top 6 with Leon Draisaitl at game 10 of the season, game 9 of the season yesterday. But call a spade, man. He's been good so far. Being able to move Jeff Skinner down the lineup has created more of a top 9 than a top 6. You just got to continue to let it roll. Stuart Skinner, he's looking to continue to let it roll as well, building off his best performance of the season, his first shutout of the season, and 5th of his career. But he's been solid in his last 2 outings. Calvin Pickard has also been solid in his last 2 outings. I mean, look at those numbers right there, 290, 875 for picks. Not ideal, I know. And you see Stuart Skinner still below 900. We mentioned his last 5, Stu has been cooking, but they've been getting consistent goaltending for over a week now, leading me to think, and who knows, famous last words, knock on wood, maybe we've turned the page here a little bit. I think it's helped that some of these matchups you're getting, being the Pittsburgh Penguins, being the Detroit Red Wings, being the Columbus Blue Jackets, and Nashville coming up. Calgary, I know they have the good record. I'm still going to choose to believe that is a fugazi right now. Stu, tonight, though, he's going to be a little bit in tough. You might not expect it was, but the Blue Jackets currently average the 5th most goals per game in the NHL. Stuart Skinner, though, he's been solid, but this is a game you cannot look past. Needs to be solid yet again.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully that confidence from against the Pittsburgh game can carry over. And I'm kind of happy with how the Oilers have handled the workload this month. I mean, It's been a strange month for the Oilers. They've had 2 back-to-backs. We're going to finishing up the second here in October. We've had some, 2 days off and 2 games. It's been a little all over the place. And hopefully Stu can come out, lights out tonight.
Absolutely. Just looking in here. Sergeant Battle, 5 fights in 10 games or something. Who is this team? Yeah, we'll talk
That's
about
true.
that a little bit
Yeah.
as we move along here because it's been key.
I want to touch on that real quick. A lot of people like to say that the Oilers are a soft team, yet we're having a fight a game. I don't know about that, folks.
I don't think the Oilers are very
Scrappy.
soft now. You could say specific players on the
Yes.
Oilers are definitely soft, but you could say that about every team in the NHL. That's why you have these fourth line grinders. That's why you have a Darnell Nurse who has that ability to drop the mitts. You don't want Darnell dropping them all the time, but pretty sure we're 4-0 with fights so far this season. But I just mentioned those Columbus Blue Jacket numbers. Pat, can we look at the head-to-head between the two teams as well? Because you look at it here, hey, we got one category, so it's starting to happen here. The page is starting to turn. The Oilers, look at those goals for, man.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just nuts to look at these.
Well,
Now, we are allowing less goals against per game, but special teams, look at the power play for the Oilers. Shout out the Blue Jackets because, hey, maybe with a 15% power play coming our way, the PK will be able to find a little something. But Columbus, they're 3-3-1, which is a little bit of a surprising start to the season. They've actually set a franchise record for the most goals through 7 games in their franchise. They've had 27 in those 7 games, but we all know with the Blue Jackets, they were dealt the horrific loss this offseason of Johnny Gaudreau, RIP. That's so hard on the ice trying to refill those shoes and all those points, let alone on the ice, off the ice, incredibly tougher. We all saw how they started the season this year. I teared up watching Sean Monahan being out there with Gaudreau's family. It was absolutely beautiful, but horrible situation. Heart goes out to everyone involved, but somehow these Blue Jackets so far here to start the season they've been finding a way to score goals. Kirill Marchenko, he leads the team with 9 points, and he leads them in goals with 4. Yegor Shinnikov and Sean Monahan, they each have 7 points. Zach Werenski on the back end, he's got 3 goals. Kent Johnson has found the back of the net twice in only 4 games. Point being, these Blue Jackets, I keep calling them Blackhawks. I don't know why I'm doing that. These Blue Jackets are playing tough to start the season. You cannot take them lightly. And especially with the Edmonton Oilers history in Columbus, I'll have that in our need to know info because it is shocking numbers in Columbus for the Oilers' lack of success, I will say. But Blue Jackets, horrible situation to start the year, but they have responded. They have looked good through 7 games.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Like 27 goals is nothing to joke about. They definitely can score. And for us, the Oilers, we can sometimes be a little leaky on the back end. We allow, last night we let in the first shot of the game. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Just got to be a little strong defensively, be a little aggressive, and be the first team to show up tonight. I know we played against Detroit, but, that doesn't matter if it's a back-to-back. Detroit proved that. You can still have that energy. The only issue that I would say the Oilers going to this game is, how long is that flight? Are they the legs a little stiff? So let's hope good things happen for the Oilers tonight.
Second night of a back-to-back that did not affect the Detroit Red Wings yesterday.
No, exactly.
They were arguably more awake. I guess they just kept playing on and on. I laughed at this from Darian. Haven't seen Darian much in the chat this year, and she explains why. Watching the first Oilers game tonight, since I smashed the panic button 2 games in. Do we not learn anything from last season, Darian? We can't be doing that. I'm not dressing up like a clown. Also, Coombsy's going to join me Thursday for pre and post. We've both agreed to wear costumes.
Oh, exciting.
But I'm not going to tell what the costumes will be. Pat, you might need to dress up too. Might have to pull one out for you.
All right. I'll find something.
I got some funny ones. So I'll put you in the group chat. We can figure it out. We're going to try and No spoilers. No spoilers. We're not going to do anything here. Let's move now to our need to know information, courtesy of our friends from Wilhauk Beef Jerky, because only the finest tasting meat products earn the Wilhauk name. Made from 100% pure Alberta beef, their jerky is aged, seasoned, marinated, and smoked to savory perfection. Their jerky gladly fills orders of any size. You can find their jerky, sausage, and other products exclusively out of their Leduc location. For more info, go to WilhaukBeefJerky.com. All right, need to know info to start for the Edmonton Oilers. One key to winning games so far this season: drop the mitts, get in the fight. Some people want it out of the game. I tell them, you haven't been watching these Oilers so far. Specifically, last night, Corey Perry, right? Oilers, flat as flat can be, asleep at the wheel. Corey Perry doesn't like the hit on Derek Ryan, which, to be honest, I thought was a totally fine hit out there. DR10 kind of put himself in a bad spot, but Corey Perry, he went out there and he did what he had to do. And a lot of these times, these fights aren't staged, as you know. It's just something happens on the ice. You got to react. And as we remember to start the season, that is not what the Oilers did when Michael Backlund took a free shot against Stuart Skinner's literal Achilles heel. They're direct results of what's happening. I like it. It has created a spark. My poll question, or just open up to the question in the chat. Everybody let me know. Who is fighting tonight for the Edmonton Oilers? Who do you want to fight tonight? Waz, who's your pick?
I will go with Vasily Podkolzin, the man who's leading the team in hits. I think it's a good shout.
That is a good pick. I like that, and he will get enough ice time out there. Pat, you got a pick for me. Who's dropping the mids tonight?
Let's go with Setcher again. Feisty guy.
Hell yeah. For me, I'm gonna say Matthias Janmark because he comes and he pulls him out in weird opportunities. But he's got to fight somebody smaller, right? Like he's got to pick his battles. It won't happen. Go fight Cole Sillinger.
I know it won't happen, but maybe that's what Zach Hyman needs to do. You know,
that was presented in the After Dark chat last night. I mean, yeah, you got to do anything.
I'll touch on Zach Hyman a little.
Yeah, we got some info here because tonight is the night, people. It has to be. I swear it needs to be. Granted, I've said that a lot so far this season. We are expecting the Oilers lines to be the exact same tonight, minus Calvin Pickard out. Stuart Skinner comes in. We thought we wouldn't know till puck drop. Tony Brar did confirm these lines for us, so continue to let it roll. Nobby, consistency. Let's go here. We're cooking. We let these lines cook. But this is the stat. Shout out the game notes article. Zach Lang wrote it today. Go check it out. Oilersnation.com. Read the game day breakdown as well, courtesy of Jason Greiger. But this is weird, dude. The Oilers have not had barely any success in Columbus, especially the last couple recent years. They've lost 4-2, 6-5, and 5-2 in each of their three most recent visits. Their last win came before COVID, brother, October 30th, 2019. What's the date today? The 28th? So here we go, right around there. Yeah, I think it's the 28th. They won that game by a score of 4-1. Why can we not win in Columbus, Ohio?
I have no idea.
It's baffling.
I think it's just because it's Columbus. Like I think of Columbus and I don't think of excitement. It's Ohio. It's gray. It's I don't know. I can't even point it out on a map. So with that being said, I hate Columbus. I guess they like to win at home. They like to play the Oilers. Everyone likes to come up against Draisaitl and McDavid and bring their best against them. But we'll see what happens. Speaking of Zach Hyman, I'll just add this. He has 5 career goals against Columbus, with 3 coming in the last 4 meetings against the Blue Jackets. So
he may be featured on Bordzy's bankroll tonight because today is the day. Connor McDavid, though, we're on Mick 1000 watch. He's 8 points away from 1000. As I pointed out, just a Sam Gagner performance away, people. Let's go. But Connor, he has scored a point in 12 straight games against the Jackets. 7 goals, 18 assists, 25 points. And he has 9 goals, 29 points in 16 career games. Tonight's the night that top line begins to cook. On the Columbus Blue Jackets side of the need to know info, early reports today out of Columbus that a few, and I believe a few is 3, right? Couple is 2, few is 3. Somebody let me know what 4 is or above 4. But a few players are under the weather, according to the Athletics' Aaron Portzline, leaving them as game time decisions. So we got to keep it locked on Twitter here. This is why you watch Pregame with Bordzy, as we get the late breaking news coming in, and we'll let you know everything you need to know. But we're not going to find out probably until 5-ish minutes from now when they hit the ice closer to warm-ups. These Jackets, they're in the midst of a 5-game, 8-day stretch that kicked off on Saturday. They had a 4-3 OT loss to the Predators, so they played a little bit of extra hockey. They have us tonight. Then they host the New York Islanders on Wednesday, the Jets on Friday, Capitals, they go out to Washington on Saturday. So these Jackets, they only have 7 games played so far, but they're about to be busy. And as I mentioned, 3-1 on the year. The offense has been the surprising part. 5th in goals for, 3.86 per game. 12 different players have found the back of the net for this team, but their power play, it's weird. They rank 25th in the league, currently at 15%. Come on, Oilers PK. Get right opportunity. Let's start to cook. And finally, Elvis Merzlikins will get the start tonight. He's only started 2 games this season, but he's got an 0-2-0 record, .854 save percentage, and a .368 goals against average. We'll have more on him a little bit later as we move along. Let's go now to our Sherwood Ford Giant storyline this evening, brought to you by Sherwood Ford the Giant. They're hockey fans helping hockey fans. That's why the team at Sherwood Ford is offering exclusive perks to all of Oilers Nation. Say goodbye to the hassle of car service and enjoy free valet pickup and delivery. That's right, free. $3.99, I might even add. They'll pick it up, they'll service it, and they'll return it to you. So now you can hit the ice or watch the game all without worrying about your ride. And that's not all. With every vehicle purchase, Oilers Nation fans get $500 towards a vehicle service plan. Experience the ultimate in automotive care and fan service from Sherwood Ford. Of course, I've been mentioning it. They also have their annual Sherwood Ford food drive going on right now until November 6th. Drop off your store-bought, unopened, non-perishables at Sherwood Ford, Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. And Waz, do you remember the school name?
I don't.
Lakeland Ridge Community School in Sherwood Park, the Wolves. Give me a wolf sound.
I'm not doing that.
Oh,
sorry, buddy.
Okay, but my Sherwood Ford Giant storyline tonight, kind of similar to yesterday, right? I want the 3-game win streak, but win the games you are supposed to win. How do you do that? You do not start incredibly flat like they did last night. I mean, that effort will work if Corey Perry drops the fists and you're playing the Red Wings. That might work against the Pittsburgh Penguins. It might work against the Blue Jackets, but this is not something you can let continue to happen with every game. I want a fast start. It's a little bit of an earlier one this evening. They're obviously out in Ohio and in Columbus, but start fast, start strong, and do not let the Blue Jackets get on you early. This is a game. Come on, look at those Merzlikins numbers. He'll have his numbers against the Oilers later. This is a game on paper. You got to win. Start fast, start strong, and just win, baby, as Al Davis of the Oakland Raiders used to say. Was, do you have a different storyline? Do you want to add on to that storyline? What are you thinking?
I'll just add on to that because I would love to see the Oilers come to this game guns blazing. Get me 3 goals in the first period because we haven't seen that in a while. We've had some slow starts. I just want a lot of goals. We haven't seen that a lot of this. Like, it feels like every Oilers game has been kind of we've been scoring the under. Is a good way to say it. Like, I want to see 6 goals, 5 goals. The Oilers that we're used to seeing. What are we averaging? 2.5 goals a game. I saw on that statistic. And let's have that fun, electric Oilers hockey. I know it's on the road. I know it's the second up to a back-to-back, but we know we can do it.
I know we can. And what would help with that is your first line scoring some goals. So tonight is the night. Let's move now. Let's take a peek at the Oilers home team lineup, brought to you by Sherwood Ford. As I mentioned, Pat, pull it up here for me because, as I mentioned, no changes this evening. It's Nuge, it's Connor, it's Hyman, the 3 that they need to get going. Nuge was able to get on the board in the Pittsburgh game with a little ping action as he went bar down. Hyman got his first assist of the season on that play. Need to keep cooking. Speaking of cooking, Pods, Dry, and RV, Podzilla. Keep rolling. I'm liking him there. I would like to see maybe a little bit more offensively from the third line. We've seen it in spurts, but it's Jeff Skinner, Adam Henrique, and Connor Brown. Your fourth line, Matthias Janmark, and
Derek Ryan
with Corey Perry. And on the D side of things, staying the same again. Ekholm with Bush, Nurse with Stetch, Kulak with Ty Emerson. Who? Let's start there, I guess, was. Kulak and Emerson, I thought, have just been solid in these last couple games. Kulak, I mean, you watched that highlight of that first goal against Detroit yesterday. He was on the ice with Darnell Nurse. Was very confused by that, why we were starting-ish the game kind of like that. But Emerson specifically, I don't know, he's just solid is the word. That's what you want from your third pairing. Not playing the most. How many minutes did you say he played last night?
I believe it was around 12,
I think it was
around
12.
there because they shifted around the pairings.
So he's not expected to do the most out there with that much ice time, but he's been solid breakouts. He's been holding the line in the offensive zone, deciding when to pinch, when to peel back. I thought he's been doing it very well. What do you thought about MB? Kind of thought, right, Nobby, he's shown here he doesn't like to sit his guys out of the lineup for an extended period of time. We've seen Emerson and Travis Dermott go back and forth, but it looks like we're keeping Emerson in for another game. What have you thought of Ty Emerson so far?
I think he's kind of just played some simple hockey.
Lance Kane says it.
Right,
Dude's just solid.
I mean, the first 2 games of the season, I thought he was a little bit all over the place. I thought he just wasn't, ready. But then again, this guy's now only played 37 NHL games, so it's still going to take him some time to just get used to the swing of things, especially playing for a team that's as good as the Oilers. You go from an environment that's so piss poor, like the San Jose Sharks, who have not won a game in October the past 2 seasons. Come on, right? Like, when you go from a losing environment to a winning environment, it is very different. It can really, just elevate your play, and we'll see if that can happen with Emerson as the season goes along. Because, I'll be honest, if you're with the Sharks and you keep on losing, you're going to lose a lot of confidence. You're not going to want to be coming to the rink every day. You're just let's just get the season over with. You're not going to want to bring your best
Plan
game.
your vacation in January.
Yeah, basically, like us Oilers fans used to do back in 15 years ago.
The decade.
So we'll see what happens. And I think with Emerson being able to be around this group of players that has the Ekholms, the Darnell Nurses, the Kulaks, these guys who have tons of NHL games under the belt, I think this is a great environment for Ty Emerson to really thrive and bring out his best. And yeah, there's going to be games that aren't going to be perfect. You're never going to have 100% every game from a defenseman. Something's always going to be exposed. It is what it is. But Ty Emerson, man, there's been a small sample size, and I'm liking it.
I liked it, right? And who's the perfect partner for a guy like that? Brett Kulak, Mr.
Yeah.
Consistency, like what I've seen so far. Pat, I know you answered, but tell the people, because Mistaken Mexican asked, did Pat make his game last night? And did he score? I told Pat, he better come home with a goal or don't bother coming home at all. And Pat, what did you do?
No, I appreciate it. You guys let me get there. I walked in, I got dressed as fast as I could, and they were already out on the ice, but I only missed 1 shift, and I tied the game up at 2 with a sick wraparound.
Woo!
So pretty jacked up about it. Appreciate everyone for letting me make it.
Yeah, no, I'm happy. Did you home dress?
No, I wouldn't fit in my car. It's too small.
I haven't done that since I was 6 years old. Chirping all the kids that used to home dress as well. So we're officially in to get, timeout. Super chat. What do we got here? Mistaken Mexican donating $5 to say way to go, Pat. As we've said repeatedly, the super chat isn't going to us. It is going to a charity. We just cannot announce it yet. But no, this money is all going to a good cause. And I'm contractually obligated like Ron Burgundy. If you put a super chat in, I am going to read it. Probably word for word, but don't put me in that position. Okay. As I mentioned, Oilers officially 10 game of the season. Offense currently ranks 30th in the NHL. I repeat, 30th in the NHL. 2.33 goals per game. PP shockingly low, 13%. Part of me, though, feels like we are about to break through offensively. Draisaitl in that second line, they found their game. Can only be snake bitten for so long, but here you see the numbers: 2.3 a game, 3.2 against, brutal power play, brutal penalty kill. But that top line, they're going to find their goals. Hyman just can't finish. Third line, you've seen the spurts, right, of Jeff Skinner, Rico, and Brown. Maybe not enough the last couple of games, but Jeff Skinner, he's been getting in there. Then you get to the fourth line, and they have been the most consistent through these first 9 games. They've even gotten on the score sheet a couple times. They're just playing the right way. They are keeping teams pinned in their defensive zone, and it's a matter of time before we've said it, the progression to the mean. But the Oilers, this is why it's going to happen. They have the second most shots on goal at 5v5 with 266. They rank first in shots for per 60, but they are 31st in shooting percentage at 5.26. The Oilers have 14 goals on 266 shots. Progression to the mean, though, was it is going to happen, and specifically, it's going to happen for our boy, Zach Hyman, because after he scored 54 last season, he's got a goose egg so far this year. He has 1 assist in those 9 games. He has 25 shots on goal in these games, but he's now up to, and analytics, schmanalytics sometimes, unless they prove my point, but here it does. He's now up to 5.25 individual expected goals, the 4th most in the entire NHL. So analytically, he is doing the 4th most things in the NHL to be rewarded with a goal. He's yet to score. The good news, though, as you mentioned, he has had success against the Blue Jackets in the past, scoring in 3 of his last 4 games was is tonight the night? Because I am chomping at the bit for not only the goal, but the goal celebration. I feel like it'll be like Connor Brown-esque. I wish it would happen on home ice because everyone could freak out, but tonight's the night. Tell me why.
Well, here's the thing. Zach Hyman probably knows where he's at. He doesn't need to be reminded. Okay, no one's harder on himself than Zach Hyman right now. When it comes to the Edmonton Oilers, 6 players have over 20 shots on the team right now throughout the season, and he's the only player out of that group to not have a goal. Brett Kulak currently has more goals than him, and this is an odd slump for Zach Hyman. Last year, he only went 4 games without scoring a goal. So, and we all know he scored 50. Before that, in the 22-23 season, he went 9 games without a goal, 6 games without a goal. And in his first year with the Oilers, that's where he was a little streaky. He had games where he went 7 games without a goal. He went 12 games without a goal early in that year as well. Funny enough, interestingly enough, in 22-23, he did have a 6-game goalless goal drought, and he snapped it against the Blue Jackets. So there's some positives there. And you were mentioning how we're 30th in the NHL for goals? Or what is this number I'm hearing?
I forget what I said. But it's terrible. Take my word for that.
Because I just want to mention, since the 22-23 season, the Oilers have the most goals in the NHL in the regular season was 638.
30th in goals.
That's insane. Like that is weird, people. This is not normal what we're seeing right now. So we are due to see an offensive explosion here. Zach Hyman, the goals will be coming. And I think tonight is the night. I'm going to say that every night.
30th in goals, 3rd in shots on goal, 27th power play, 32nd shooting percentage, 3rd in faceoffs.
Yes.
Let's go, baby. Shout out Derek Ryan for a little bit of that as well. A lot of people here in the chat saying, yes, Zach Hyman, tonight is the night, but also FICO, good idea. They should just dress up as another member of the Oilers Nation squad for Halloween. And then somebody also mentioned that we should dress up like the Anchorman crew. Jeremy Lebrecht, shout out Jeremy. I know him personally. Pat Puff as Brian Fantana. Crippled Zombie, Bordzy would be the perfect Ron Burgundy.
Yeah,
and it's 60% of the time, it works every time. Sex Panther, that is the clone of choice. Let's talk about the power play now here as well, because that is an area the Oilers normally are the best in the NHL, or top 3 or top 5. That's been a huge issue so far. So much time we spent last week talking about will they, won't they change up these power play combos. Friday night, didn't change them up at all. Yesterday, didn't change them up until the end of the game, about halfway through a power play. Nugent Hyman came off. McDavid, Draisaitl, Bouchard stayed on, but Jeff Skinner and Victor Arvidsson came on the ice to join them. Now, they did not score, but I don't know, Waz, let me ask you, and Pat, you too. I'm curious your opinion. You're a very smart guy. What would you do here? I'm curious, everyone in the chat as well. Would you switch it up? Would you just give power play 2 more time? Or would you say, hey, these guys have done enough for most of their entire careers in Edmonton, at least the last 4 or 5 years. Just continue to let them cook. They will figure it out. I don't know. Just let the big dogs, they're sink or swim. They're going to find it out eventually. Waz, what would you do if you were in Chris Knobloch's shoes?
Well, insanity.
Or Glenn Gullettson's shoes, I should say.
Insanity, I believe the definition is doing the same thing over and over. But then again, consistency, repetition, and practice eventually lead to goals, right? So it's tough to say. You can just keep running with it until it works. But I wouldn't mind giving PP2 a little bit more of an opportunity. I like the way they were slowing the game down against Detroit, really taking their time with their puck, weren't really rushing it towards the net, and that was creating some opportunities. So I personally, against Columbus, let's switch it up. Considering this is also the second half of back-to-back, let's not fatigue our players too much.
I think I am of the belief you keep letting PP1 cook with the same old, because you're going to go back to it anyways, regardless. But let PP2 go out there, get a little bit more ice time. Maybe not 15 seconds, maybe not 30. Give them 45. Fuck it. Give them a whole 60. See what they can do with it, because they have produced. Pat, I'm curious about your opinion as well. What would you do with the power play?
Yeah.
What would your beer league team do?
I think you guys nailed it. Like, it's funny because we constantly talk about wanting consistency with the lines. Then when it comes to the PP, I'm kind of like, change it up. So it's kind of hard to put your finger on it. But I think keep it the way it is for now. Give PP2 a little more time. Like you said, maybe a minute. They did that in Detroit as well. So maybe they can do something like that. But I did like throwing Skinner and Arvidsson out there in that last game against Detroit, just to kind of throw off the other team. I like the idea too of, I know this maybe sounds crazy, but maybe start with power play 2. If you like, say it's the third power play of the game, start PP2 for a minute and then throw the big guns out there. And imagine being Columbus on the bench going, McDavid's not out there. What
They've literally never done this before. Oh my God, I don't know what to do.
So I don't know if that's necessarily the best play, but I think it could be an interesting look and kind of send a message to the guys as well. But we know that this power play unit is one of the best in the league, so it's hard not to go to it.
Also, I want to shout you out there because you were mid-sentence and you brought this in and brought it up. I saw you doing it all behind the scenes. That's A+ producing right there, baby. Producer to producer. You got to like that. I don't know. Let me know in the chat what all you guys think about this as well. McKay and Dry, PP2 for first 45 seconds, or when it clears, then bring on power play 1. I like that. I like that. And then Lance Kane, Ron Burgundy, I am. In Nobby, we trust. Fair point. Fair point, because he has... Anytime he pulls the strings, he's doing a good work. But, you know, Lance Kane, stick taps for Pat. Yep, you got to like that as well. Let's move now to our Short Power Sports Marine starting goaltender report, brought to you by Power Sports and Marine. Hit the trails this winter or the waves next summer. As fellow hockey fans, the team at Short Power Sports and Marine are helping Oilers Nation fans gear up. They're home of an ATV for just $50 bi-weekly, or cruise the open water next summer for as low as $105 bi-weekly. Short Power Sports and Marine are hockey fans helping hockey fans get ready for their next adventure with motorcycles, quads, e-bikes, and boats. So go check them out. And while you're there, drop off your non-perishable items. Pat, let's take a little peek at it right here. There we go. Elvis Blomquist, nice. Merzlikins, nice. Hey, that's all that good producing you're doing. Nope, you're allowed this one. Elvis Merzlikins against Stuart Skinner. Merzlikins 0-2-0, 3.68 and an 8.54. Look at Stu, baby. There's yellow on our side. Yeah. There's yellow on our side. Stu, as I mentioned, coming off his best performance of the season, 27 saves, 27 shots. You know how I know he was good? Because we posted a clip of me saying he was solid. And I went through the comments today. Every comment agreed. There was no shit talking. There was nothing bad in there. It was everybody just saying, not overly tested. But when he stood tall. He robbed Erik Karlsson. He robbed Noel Achari. Back-to-back games above 900. As you mentioned, in his last 5, he's got a 9.15 and a 2.38 goals against average with another solid effort tonight. Dare I say we're looking at 900 save percentage on the season. Hasn't been the toughest matchups, right? Penguins, sure. Now, the Jackets are scoring goals. I am just saying this based off everything that's been in my head for the last 20 years of the Columbus Blue Jackets, but don't let them fool you. They can score goals. Was Stu, he's going to have to be tall, but he's been solid. Solid's word of the day today. I think I've said it like 8 times, but Skinner, he's solid.
Yeah, I'm always confident in Stu. I know he's going to have the odd game where he doesn't look himself, but the matter of the fact is that it's not easy being an NHL starter, an NHL goalie in today's NHL. The offense, the skill in today's game it's unlike anything we've seen. The game is so fast. The players are so skilled. It's just, offense has been on the rise over the last couple of years. So for every goalie nowadays, it's not easy. You have to be better than before. I mean, I know it's a really simple way of saying things, but it's the truth. The goalies aren't what they used to be, especially like 10, 15 years ago. Like you look at it, especially Canada's goalie crop. It's not the prettiest. It's not the best. We don't have, Carey Price, Braden Holtby, Corey Crawford. There used to be a lot of good goalies in the NHL. And now there's maybe like 5, I would say elite goaltenders, 10 maybe. What'd you say? Would you? How many elite goaltenders do you think are in the NHL right now?
8.
8? Yeah.
Something
See,
like that.
and like
elite. We can't be throwing out the word elite a little too much.
Exactly, right? So it's just, you have to look through the last couple of years in the NHL, see how offense has been trajectorying upwards. And Stuart Skinner, I think he's done a great job of just being a solid goaltending for this Oilers team.
Word of the day.
There you go. Perfect.
I see it in your fighting Amish. Stu was always going to be fine. His last game proved how good he really is. And yes, I agree. I think last season, the NHL playoffs showed he'd be fine, not just one game in the regular season. But that's what we do here. We tend to overreact or underreact to things. That's why we're in the chat. That's why we have this show in general. Also, somebody asked here. They were asking, Ryan Smith knows. How do the Oilers play in Columbus? Thought they struggled there. Maybe I am wrong. No, you're not. They have not won a game since pre-COVID in Columbus. October 30th, 2019. They've lost 4-2, 6-5, and 5-2 in each of their last 3 meetings. So, no, you were completely correct on that one. On the other side of this, it's Elvis Merzlikins. Rough start to the year so far. He's lost his starting job. I believe it's Tarasov who is the starter there. Bad year after a bad year last season where he requested a trade. Last year he had a 3.45 goal against, 8.97 save percentage. He's 30 years old. He's struggling. I don't think he's going to be in Columbus for all that long, but I know he does have a healthy ticket. He has to be paid in 3 career starts. I believe it's 4 appearances, but 3 starts against the Oilers. He's 1-2-0. He's got a 3.08 and a 9.07. This team should be able to snipe on Elvis Merzlikins.
Yeah, I'm just kind of confirming here. Gord posted in our chat there. Daniil Tarasov is the Blue Jackets goalie?
Shit, do we get changes?
Do we get a change there? So that's thank you for that, Gord.
Thank you.
So that's very interesting. Yeah, I mean, last minute, maybe he's one of the players that's sick.
Oh, maybe as well.
So, what's wrong with Nurse and Kulak? Mr. Lanskin says. I think both of them are left side defensemen. I think that's the one issue.
Watch the very first goal of the game yesterday, and
Yeah.
you'll know instantly what's wrong with it. And remember, we tried Nurse and Kulak in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Pat, you kind of check on that if we have the confirmed goaltender. If it is Tarasov, I'm still seeing here confirmed Elvis Merzlikins. If it were to be Tarasov so far this season, he has 5 appearances, 3-1-1, 8.86, 3.42. So both goalies they're leaking goals so far this season, but thank you very much. Thank you very much for keeping that information going for me. Let's move now to our away team lineup, courtesy of our pals from Greta Bar Yeg. Greta Bar is where Oilers Nation loves to watch the game, home or away. Greta is a great spot for pre and post game. We're going to be there all season long for our viewing parties throughout the year. Check out the great street food menu and games in the arcade. They got weekly drink specials. Greta Bar, it's the place to be. And I also want to sneak this one, a little update right now going on in the Oilers Nation world. The Nation Vacation, it is officially sold out, ladies and gentlemen. You can no longer find a way on that bad boy, except... Thank you, Woz. That's exactly where I'm leading in. Unless you go to Oodle Noodle. Because when you go into any participating Oodle Noodle location in the Edmonton area, you can enter for your chance to win 2 spots on the Nation Vacation to Denver, Colorado from November 29th to December 3rd. Just for coming into the store, you get a free entry. But if you make a purchase, you're entitled to a second entry. Entries will be collected until November 3rd. And we'll be randomly drawing the winner on November 8th. Oodle Noodle is delicious. You can also get a chance just for walking in.
Mm-hmm.
You can get another one for eating Oodle Noodle. That's a win. That's a win. That's a win. Head on down to Oodle Noodle because you don't want to miss out on your chance to secure your spot. It's a trip of a lifetime. You get Browns, you get Broncos, and Pat Jameis Winston. He tore it up last night for the Cleveland Browns. So go check it out. Conditions and terms apply. Please visit oodlenoodle.ca for more information. Wallace, did I explain that contest properly?
Perfectly.
Hell yeah, brother. Let's go.
Does anyone know where to get coffee in Denver?
Oh my God, not that again. Okay, so let's pull it up here. Not sure if this is confirmed. Pat will look through. Okay, as we see it there on the screen. Cole Sillinger, he's out top line with Sean Monahan, Kirill Marchenko, Yegor Shinnikov, who's having a great start to the season, with Adam Fantilli, and Liam butchered this one earlier today, and I'm going to do it as well. Mikhail Pizza, I'm going to call him MP for short, because that's what I call JVR as well. James Van Riemsdyk with Sean Corrali and Kevin LeBanc, Zach Aston Reese with Justin Danforth and Mathieu Olivier. That's what Liam said today as well. Zach Werenski with Ivan Provorov, Jake Christensen with Damon Severson, Jack Johnson with Jordan Harris. But as we mentioned, there is an illness and a little bit of a flu bug going around in Columbus right now. Trying to find out if this is accurate or not. Sergeant Battle, I love you, and Lance Kane. You guys are on duty right now. Maybe Pat's got it?
Yeah, I got some new lines coming in. Just give me 1 second.
God damn, that's why I love you, my brother. So we look at this. Columbus, they are scoring goals so far this season. Pat, you just throw it up whenever you've got it. They haven't been the most skilled team for years, but they're scoring goals right now, and it's under new head coach Dean Evison. Haven't watched many Blue Jackets games, so this is me taking this from the internet, but it sounds like they're playing a much more aggressive style. They're forechecking hard. They don't retreat a lot when they are defending. And Evison recently said, I love this. This reminds me of young Oilers. Who wants to sit back and defend? It's an easy sell to tell the players. We'll correct stuff, but it's a lot easier to pull back the reins than have to push them forward. It can lead to the Blue Jackets giving up some odd man rush opportunities from time to time. And in theory, that should work well for the Edmonton Oilers. But in reality, they have not been capitalizing on those odd man rush chances so far this season. Something tells me this is going to be an up and down style of game. And shout out to Patrick because he's got these new updated lines. So we got Shinnikov, Monahan, and Marchenko top line. Cole Sillinger, Adam Fantilli, and MP. That's what I'm calling this guy. Zach Aston Reese, that's ZAR with Justin Danforth and Mathieu Olivier. James Van Riemsdyk with Sean Corrali and Kevin LeBanc. Werenski with Provorov. Christensen with Severson. Jack Johnson with a Jordan Harris. Pat, thank you very, very much for that one. But I'm down for an up and down hockey game. Let's get the offense going again. Let's go up and down the ice. When you look at this Columbus Blue Jackets team, who's your player to watch? I'll ask you all the time, who is your guy this evening on the Columbus Blue Jackets who puts a little bit of fear in you?
I would say Sean Monahan. He has a bit of a history against the Oilers.
Doesn't put fear in Nuge.
No, definitely not. And just, I don't know, looking at that lineup, like maybe on paper it doesn't look scary, but they've been finding ways to score this year, and that's something to keep an eye on. And if their coach is telling them, hey, just go score some goals, go have some fun. I think that's you gotta be careful, be wary, because if they're pro is to score goals and not really defend, we'll see how this goes. I don't know what team is. Fantilli, he's good. Werenski, Provorov, there's a couple. We'll see what happens.
I'm gonna say Kirill Marchenko for me. Gonna take the easy one, the guy who leads the team in points and goals. But you didn't take that one. I'll let you take it first if you wanted to. But him, I don't know. He's a young player, right? I'm sort of excited to see more of him. As I mentioned, we don't get to watch a lot of Columbus Blue Jackets game, and
right?
they're not really a team that I want to watch as far as I am concerned. But Marchenko, he's 24 years old. Last season, he had 42 points in 78 games. So he's starting to build, starting to see some things. Pat, shot out of a cannon. Who would be your player to watch?
I'm going to go with, we'll just finish off the top line. Might as well. I would go with Shinnikov. He's 7 points in 7 games, 3 goals, 4 assists. He's a big body, also young, fast. And as you mentioned, we don't see a lot of them, but we're starting to see more of this guy as well because he's got that pure talent. So just maybe to round off that top line, I'm going to go with Shinnikov.
I'm also a little excited to get a look at Cole Sillinger, right? I feel like I know more about his dating life, or ex-dating life, I should say, than I really do about anything he's done on the ice so far this season. 1 goal, 3 assists in 7 games played. Last year, he had 13 goals, 77 games. He's a young guy, right? 21 years old. Expect him to maybe here find some stuff. So we'll get a look at him. But it's a very young team. What are you giggling at, Was?
Gary at Wem the other day. Oh my God, that happened to me. So
okay, I'll read that out loud.
Yeah.
I was in the washroom in a stall at Wham autograph day when I heard outside, hey, are you the Oilers Nation guy? Let's just say I rushed my shit.
I'm not going to lie. That happened to me. I was going to go to use the washroom. Some kid stops me. Hey, you're the Oilers Nation guy. I'm like, yeah, buddy. How's it going? Let's take a picture.
I've said it before. I think the hierarchy of being recognized in our company, it's probably Tyler. And Was is definitely number 2. It's the TikTok guy. It's the king of the TikTok, as I always say.
Washroom is hilarious.
Let's move here. We'll do Bordzy's bankroll, but before that, I want to give a shout out to our friends at Odd Company. You might have thought I already had a couple of these.
But I need a coffee.
Bang! It's the Nation Beer Everyday Lager. Pumped to partner with Odd Company Brewing to bring you the all-new Nation Beer. Perfect for the next big game or your new go-to lager. You can find it at Odd Company Brewing or go to Liquor Connect, find it, locate it, and go buy them. Go buy them in bulk, baby, because I know Christopher Palmer, he's been in the chat. KP lives in Calgary, right? Right? Does KP live in Calgary?
I think so, yes.
Something like that. So he's been be like KP. Stock up on these beautiful, beautiful cans with all these sneaky art designs in here. Keep Nuge forever. Hope will never die. Neon Leon. They are as delicious as they are dangerous. Gotta like them. Shout out Odd Company Nation Beer, everyday lager. And now let's talk Bordzy's Bankroll, brought to you by Bet365. Bordzy Bankroll, proud partner of Pre-Gaming with Bordzy, or Bet365 is rather. Open an account with Bet365 today. Bet on a huge range of markets. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app today and use the code all capitals nation, NATION. Was, what does that spell?
Nation.
Boom. That was like a little cheerleading thing there. I like that. Shout out Bet365. And this is what we're looking at this evening. True transparency. I already bet all three, but Pat, you're going to make that YouTube poll and we'll see what everybody else is thinking. I got an idea who they're going to pick, and I think it's number 3 out there. But your first one, it's the Viking to get 1+ point. As I mentioned, he's 3rd on this team in points, plus money at plus 125. It was hard to find 1 point with plus money on a night like tonight. Oh, there it goes. Okay, it's back. So the Viking for your first option. The second one, I really have no reason or like stats or anything to tell you that this would happen. This is strictly a gut feeling that Bush to get 1+ power play point. It's currently at plus 180 is what that says there. And last year, Bush had 35 power play points. I profited a lot off Bouchard, and this is it. This is where the offense turns. This is the game, and it's where it turns for number 18, the children's book author, Zachary Martin Hyman. Anytime goal, currently at plus 125 on Bet365. He scored 54 last season. He's got 0 in 9 games. Wanye told me to bet, he told me to put on here, Hyman hat trick. As much as I would love to do that, maybe I'll check the odds right here. We're just going to, you got to see one go through the hoop first. So Hyman anytime goal was, when you look at these bad boys, which one do you like the most?
I like the Ekholm plus 1 point. Did you mention he's 2nd on the team for points or 3rd?
3rd.
Yeah, well, also he's also 3rd on the team for shots. So I can see that definitely happening, especially. I mean, he had a nice assist on Draisaitl's OT winner there.
That was
like,
so nice.
He just reads the ice so well. He's so aware of his surroundings. We were gushing over him on pre-gaming yesterday. He's got the best plus minus in the NHL since being acquired by the Edmonton Oilers, which is like 100+ games. So I like Matthias Ekholm. You can always rely on him to get like chipping in the offense. I know he doesn't put up the numbers like Bouchard, but he can just find a way to get the puck in the back of the net.
I like this from Mackay and Dry. Oilers Nation needs its own autograph table. I don't think OEG would be very big fans of that, but who knows? Patrick, when you look at these 3 bets, which one do you like the most? And if you put any shekels on anything this evening?
No, I haven't. The bankroll is a little dry right now, so we're
Same.
Dude,
being
I'm more flushed
responsible.
than I've ever been before.
Yeah,
I think.
I'm just donating to you, basically.
Yeah, no, come on,
We
please.
support you.
Yeah, exactly. I think looking at that middle one, Bush power play point is just far too juicy at plus 180.
Right, and there's no reason for me to think this. The power play hasn't been good, but it's going to happen.
But it is still, maybe not this year, but it is still one of the best power plays in the NHL. And plus 180 just seems a little ridiculous to me. So I got to go with that one. I want Hyman to score, but I'd like it to be a little juicier than 125.
Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy that he's gone 9 games and it's still there. Somebody pointed out, how is his anytime goal the same as Ekholm points? Well, I think it's because everybody thinks Zach Hyman's going to score to come in and squad ride with us. And I see the chat agrees. 18 anytime goal, 62% of the vote right now. I also believe I parlayed these all together. And it was, I couldn't do power play point though. It was just Bouchard point plus 500 to put all those together.
I was going to go add some funds to my account, but it seems the game starts in 1 minute.
Little shame reload. Never hurt anybody, baby. All right, Waz. Thank you for joining me. You'll be joining me for Oilersnation After Dark for an early one today. We'll be out of here at a good hour, I believe. Pat, you'll be with us as well. Big shouts out to everybody in the chat. It was an early one today. Viewership not great. The ones of you in the chat, you guys were in here and you were electric in here. Throw down your courtesy like on the way out. Final shout out to our sponsors, Sherwood Ford, Sherwood Power Sports Marine, Greta Bar Yegg, Bet365, Willock Beef Jerky, and Odd Company Brewing for our new Nation Beer Everyday Lager. You should open one up when they drop the puck. I'm going to do the same. All right, we love you all, and I will see you right here on the Oilers Nation YouTube right after the game. Peace out.